Hi, Christina. Welcome to the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing so well. I'm so excited to be here. So thank you for having me. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. I think you're going to be able to touch upon a whole lot of what our listeners maybe haven't gotten to hear yet. And I'm really excited for you to share what you have to share. So let's kind of dive in. What we'll do to start is I'd like for you to share with the listeners kind of what you're currently doing in your practice right now. Kind of how are you serving the wellness coaching community and what does that look like? And then we can always back it up and kind of talk about how you got started.
Yeah, currently I train other healers. And so I would put coaches under the healer realm. So I train other energy healers. I do a lot of energy healing, intuitive work. And then I also am a business mentor. So I work with a lot of coaches, healers to build their businesses in a way that feels aligned. I'm a big believer in working less and making more and making massive impact along the way. So those are kind of the two main legs of my business. I have the more energy healing, intuitive side, and then the more business coach. And I work with people from just getting started to, they're already making multiple 6-figure, 7 figures. So I really, serve the span of coaches and where people are at in their business. And I got into this through my own healing journey, my own journey with chronic illness. That's how I found my way to alternative health. After that, I became certified as a health coach, and then I became a nutritional therapy practitioner. And I worked in that capacity for a bit. And I was attracting in a lot of clients who were similar to me, who had, very complicated cases. These are the people who had squeaky clean diets, had been on every supplement protocol, like they have tried everything. They've done experimental treatments and something still wasn't budging. And so like me, the type of work I was focusing on was obviously just fine tuning all of that and making sure that nothing was missed, because you'd be surprised how many functional medicine doctors don't seal the gut, but they go in for the heavy hitters, but they forget to seal the gut. So tightening all of that up, but a lot of it was really the energetic work. And so for me, combining the nutritional therapy, right, proper supplement protocols, and a lot of the energetic work, emotional work, was really what allowed people to finally heal, which was so amazing. So, I worked in that capacity for a while. My business was expanding really quickly. And I kind of just fell into business coaching that way because I had so many people asking me to support them with their businesses. And at a certain point, I was spending so much time doing that I figured maybe I should just get paid for this. So that's kind of how I made my way here.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. So I'm curious if along the way, so was your main obstacle kind of in what you were trying to do with yourself and your own health, or did you find kind of business obstacles along the way? And then we're going to kind of talk about what you're doing present day with the business coaching. But did you find that your biggest obstacle in kind of getting you to where you are was your own health journey, and that ultimately was what led you here? Or did you find any specific business-based obstacles when you were, launching your health coaching practice, or then when you went into business coaching?
I mean, I would say both, and I think they're related. For me, it was just lots of ups and downs with my health, and where it first was, finally, we caught the SIBO, the parasites, the candida. Then it was, I got better, and then it came back, and then it was, I have mold, I have Lyme. And so it was just all of these ups and downs. And I was at the same time, it was kind of happening at the same time, kind of staggered, but I was building my business in a very inefficient way and grinding my way there and really trading time for dollars, just, paying hourly session by session. I had no real strategy or plan. Looking back, I don't know what I was spending my time on. I was just so inefficient. I was doing what a lot of my clients doing now, where I call, majoring in the minors and focusing on things that are not moving the needle forward. And so my priorities were just, not fully aligned. At the same time, as somebody with a chronic illness, as somebody who's highly sensitive, as somebody who even healed from that, even like post Lyme now, I have to manage my energy. And I see so many people when they build a business, put themselves into HPA axis dysfunction, right? They just really tax their adrenals because they're trying to muscle through. It's a very stressful thing. They're working too many hours, whatever it is. And so I think that actually really helped me because it forced me to learn how to build my business in a much more effective way time-wise. I was also honoring me and what I needed to support my physical health, because it came to a point multiple times, actually, like earlier on in my business, where I had to shut down my whole practice. I had to, my body was just shutting down because I was overworking myself. And so I had a relapse, and I would just have to literally shut down my practice, refer out all of my clients, and lay in bed for a couple of months and recover. And it wasn't a fun place to be. And that happened 2 times. It happened 2 different times. And I was like, I cannot rebuild this the same way. It's not going to work. So that really led me to toying with different business models and how can I be more effective. And I started really focusing on business energetics as well. And I realized that I could spend way less time working and make way more money. And my business, financially just grew exponentially. My reach grew exponentially. And everything just started flowing. And so I'm really glad that it was all happening, because a lot of the clients who come to me are coaches in the wellness space, and most of them have their own health journey that, made them want to become a coach, a practitioner. And so they're all very mindful of that too. And I think sometimes a lot of coaches are a little nervous to even get started because there's a piece of them that feels like, oh, it's going to be so hard. I have to do all of this work. And a lot of my clients who come to me, they're shocked what I recommend. I have a free webinar on my website. It's called How to Build a 6-Figure Coaching Business using social media. And in there, like if anybody's listening, like I would listen to that after this episode if it calls to you, because I map out exactly like numbers wise. I break down the numbers of how it's very possible, like, working 10 hours a week essentially, like to build that business. And I think just seeing that mapped out, it makes people relax a lot more, and then they can show up more fully to their clients in their practice. So, I know a lot of the rhetoric in the business world can feel overwhelming for people or intimidating, and it doesn't have to be that way. There's no right way to build a business. I really believe in building it in flow and adjusting it to what your needs are, right? And so we shouldn't feel like we have to sacrifice our own health to serve other people. That's not helpful either. So that's kind of my philosophy around it.
Yeah, I love so much of what you said. And I think it also kind of goes into a little bit of a lot of entrepreneurial type coaches or, role models in this field can sometimes be more predominantly men, just from, just how I think nature's kind of designed it. And for better or worse, they don't necessarily always understand that women operate, our hormones operate, we are more sensitive to stress hormonally. And so kind of grinding for a woman in a business sense to what a man would suggest as far as this is how to grow a successful business and what maybe worked for him is probably a whole lot different than what's going to work for a female. And health coaching attracts, I think, certainly more females than men for whatever reason that may be. And so you're kind of this female entrepreneurial wellness business coach. Like you're teaching people how to do it and stay well while they're doing it. And that's, what could be like more perfectly packaged than that?
Yeah. Well, and this is why I love it, because I have a lot of clients where, and this is like really what I love the most, is when you have a client who has a business and I'm more there as like their spiritual wellness coach support, right? Mm-hmm. Because at those higher levels of business, like as a CEO, you have to make sure that you are well, right? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And so let's just get started from that energy to begin with. And to your point, hormonally, we're so different. And there's so much, like Alyssa Vitti is great with this. I don't know if you've read her book, but she even maps out like productivity according with your cycle, which I think is really helpful. And that's kind of naturally how I end up running my business anyway, but I think of it more as like masculine, feminine energy balance. And in the business world, a lot of the traditional messaging just feels very, masculine energy dominant. And if that works for somebody, that's fine. I just prefer more of a balance. And I also know with a lot of my clients, they have more of a feminine energy core, and it feels better for them to be more in flow. I'm also really I'm a really big fan of the human design system. I don't know if you're familiar with human design, but that's like a baseline for me. I'm always looking at my clients' human design charts and seeing how do we best work, with how your energy naturally wants to flow. Some people are gonna, like, I'm a generator, right? So when I'm in alignment, I have all the energy in the world. I can go all day. I don't necessarily expect that of my team member who is a projector, and she's actually going to be more efficient if I let her have her 4 hours of work and then rest. That's just an example. But I really, really believe in that system. I've seen it again and again with so many different CEOs. When they start to follow it, like, they make so much more money, they have such bigger impact, and they feel so much better themselves. So I like to work with a lot of these different systems just to see what's best for you. And I think that, this is true in health as well, like morning routines, right? People are like comparing their morning routine to somebody else. And at the end of the day, you have to do what makes you feel good. And it's the same with business. So making it more of a personalized experience, and you're going to show up better to your work as well and serve your clients better. We have to think about longevity, and you want to be excited about your business, you don't want it to turn into something that you're dreading.
Yes. Yeah, of course. So if I was listening to this podcast and I didn't know what you were talking about, I would be like, oh, wait, I want her to elaborate on that. So I'm going to have you back up and give our listeners a little bit more information as to kind of that human design. How many types are there, and kind of what do you think is the most important takeaway from that?
Yeah. Human design could be a whole episode, and I do have a few episodes on my podcast, Christina, the channel, if you're interested. But overall, it's an energy. It's a system that describes how your energy flows, I think, is the easiest way to describe it. And it combines a few different systems, like the chakra system, astrology, I Ching. So if you get different systems together, it's based on your birth data. What I like about it is it gives you, essentially, there's something called your strategy and your authority in human design. And it basically tells you like how to move through life, like how to actually like listen to your intuition and how to make most aligned decisions. So it's all about living in alignment. So there are different energy types, all serve their purpose. We need everybody. There are generators, which have, they're more of the batteries of society. They are the ones that are best built for more of an 8-hour workday. There are manifestors who are here to initiate, start things, bring down the inspiration, say, we're going to do this. There are manifesting generators that are sort of a blend of manifestors and generators. Everything that applies to generators applies to manifesting generators, but they can make things happen a little more quickly than a traditional generator, I would say. A projector is here to guide and like kind of guide all of the, I would say generators, but everybody in general. So I know for me, I tend to attract a lot of projectors because they guide my energy. How do I use it? So those are projectors, and the reflectors reflect whoever they're around, their energy back to them. They kind of reflect the state of the world to us. They are the least common type to find. And they're very powerful because they're like a straight mirror for people around them. So those are the different energy types. And depending on like the energy centers in the chart, some people will have more consistent energy to work from, and other people just are going to do better with rest. And what I have found is human design, and outside of that, again, the more in alignment somebody is in their life, in their business, with their mission, with their purpose, everything just starts to fall into place. And so people are always shocked when we get them off of this hamster wheel of, working 10-hour days, and now they're working 3 days, but they're very efficient and they're excited the whole way through, and they feel really good, and they're making more money and working less and feeling better. But it happens every single time. And so, whatever helps guide somebody to staying in alignment, that's the key. That's the ticket. And even with client attraction, with offers, people put out programs and they're like, why is nobody coming? There are so many things we could look into, but one of the most common ones is it in alignment? Are you creating that offer because you think that's what you should do, or because that's what you really want? If you think that the only way to make money is a group coaching program, so you're doing it, but there's that piece of you that like doesn't really want to be in a group coaching program, then I wouldn't be surprised if you're not going to receive a lot of clients, right? Your energy is not behind it. Or vice versa. If you are like, I do not want to see one-on-one clients, I want to make a DIY course, or I want to do a group program, then, I mean, you don't need to spend your time doing something that you hate. Right. So I really just believe in following an alignment. And I see this happen again and again. And it just tweaks an energy that opens the floodgates for so many aligned soulmate clients to come your way.
Yeah, that's amazing. This is, I think, such great information for all of our listeners to hear. So tell me a little bit about how you kind of structure the business coaching aspect of it. So a new coach comes to you. Let's kind of use the example of maybe somebody that's just starting out and maybe not somebody that's already making six figures and wants to kind of get more in alignment, but somebody that's new, maybe hesitant, isn't sure as to kind of like, can I do this? Should I do this? I'm nervous, I'm scared, whatever it may be. Maybe it's a career change too, right? I think a lot of people are faced with that, making this financial decision to leave maybe a good paying job and go into something that they feel passionate about, but like they just can't make the leap. So that may be too many things I'm asking you to do, but what do you do initially with people to kind of help them get started in exploring all this?
Yeah. So when people are first getting started, the very first thing that I think is really important to say, because other people might not say it, but I'm just going to say it. You have to say yes to yourself first. So if somebody wants to join my program and they're in an energy of, I don't know, like it's fine to have a certain level of self-doubt because you build confidence as you're going, but you have to say yes to yourself first. So for me, my level of, are you saying yes to yourself is, are you going to invest in this program that I'm offering? Because you wouldn't put this money down if you weren't saying, I'm committed to building this business. Because for me as a coach, my job is to support somebody, but my job is not to get you to commit. You have to come in with, I'm committed to this. I'm going to make this work. So because that energy shift is so important. And that's the difference between getting results and not. If I sign up for something, I don't know if I'm going to do this. No, I have to say, yes, I'm deciding that my business is going to grow. This is going to be my business. And so I'm saying yes to myself and yes to this business. And I'm stepping into it. So like the energy behind that is so, so crucial to begin with. Once they're,
I love that. That you're not in the business of convincing someone.
No.
That they have to kind of come to that place on their own, and then you kind of help drive that forward. And
Yeah. And I don't want anyone to feel like, look, you're gonna, in your business in general, and as you continue to expand and shift, you're gonna come against imposter syndrome in different ways again and again. There are going to be levels of doubt, right? But you can have that level of doubt and be like, I'm going to move forward despite this doubt or fear, because I'm going to decide I'm saying yes to myself. And I need, like, for me, my clients, I cannot work with somebody who's not already committing to themselves, because I can't force somebody to commit to themselves. That's not my job. The same way. And that's important for me to do as a coach, because that's what I suggest my clients do with their clients, right? If you are, an integrative health practitioner and you are on a discovery call with somebody and you're like trying to convince them to want to help themselves, well, if they say yes, right, you're going to be dragging them along the whole way through, right? That was something that I learned big time in my coaching business. At the beginning, I wanted to be the fixer, the savior, and I would take on a lot of clients at the very beginning who I had to drag along to want to help themselves, but if you tell me that you want to get rid of your chronic gut issues and you are refusing to stop eating your gluten-filled pretzels every week, I'm just not the girl for you. Right. So that's important to realize, which I'll kind of circle back to that in a second. The first thing, once somebody gets in, is we want to be thinking about their niche. Who are you serving? Like, how do you help them? Right? What's the problem that you're solving and how do you do it? So getting very, very clear. A lot of people have worries about niching down. It will make your life so much easier. This can be like the thing between getting no clients and getting all of them. So when you're clear on your niche, here's the thing. we know that every part of the body is connected. So people are like, oh, I think I want to do hormones, but I love the gut. Well, guess what? They're connected. So you can talk about all of them. We just need something to anchor people into, right? That person, that ideal client for you, what is she or he looking to solve? Like, what is that thing that they're up late at night Googling about, that they're like, this is my main issue, right? Because the person who, somebody could present with all of the same symptoms, but one woman is worried about her acne. One woman is worried about her lower belly fat. One woman's worried about her bloating and constipation, right? One person's worried about their chronic fatigue. There's each person, they might have all the same symptoms, but they're focused on whatever the main thing is that's really disrupting their life. So we need to get in their head and be like, what are they looking for? Right? What are they looking for? You can still talk about everything else you want to talk about, but we need an anchor point. So finding a niche is super important. And then that ideal client, right? And that goes back to what I was saying before around like my ideal client. And this isn't this is not who is coming to me already. This is who is my dream client. My dream client is not somebody I have to drag to want to help themselves. They have to already want to help themselves, right? My ideal client is somebody who is committed to their wellness, to their expansion, to their growth. My person is committed, right? So those are just some things. But with that ideal client, I want to know what she's Googling late at night. I want to know what she's eating. I want to know how she's exercising. I want to know what her relationships are like. Is she dating? What is she insecure about? What is she excited about? What are her dreams? What is her job like? I want to know everything about her, because if I know her super clearly, I can speak directly to her. And then I can create that experience for her where she's like, oh, she gets it. She knows me. And that's what's going to make her want to work with me, right? Mm-hmm. She's going to be drawn to me. I think about myself as a client, right? I want to work with somebody who I feel like understands me because I feel comfortable, right? I feel comfortable. So ideal client, knowing your ideal client and your niche are like the two main things that are super important. From there, I focus on using social media, Instagram specifically. So if we craft, it's actually ridiculous, but your name and your bio makes or breaks a business. I swear, I've seen this so many times. Like, it is wild to me how we can just change that. And that's the difference between somebody I spent the last year and I can't get a single client. And then we change that and, oh my God, I just got 50 applications. I've seen it so many times. It like never stops amazing me how much it affects people. Like, because it goes back to clarity. If people are not clear on what you do and how you can help them, they're not going to know to even click on your page or read any further. So we have to be really, really clear. And a lot of coaches think they're being clear and they're not, just because they're too deep in it. You know too much and you don't realize. And so really distilling down that clarity is super important. So those are like the three main things for setup, assuming they have their business set up already legally, which is important. And then from there, setting up a coaching container, right? And so what is that going to look like? I'm a really big believer, like in the container, like the energy of the container is so important. What is my intention for this? How do I set up an offer for somebody that's going to give them their best results? Because the client, it's my job as a coach to create a coaching container that sets them up for success, right? So and where a lot of people go wrong is, if you're going session by session, you're not setting that person up for success. Because people just drop off, right? And so how can I make sure that this person is going to continue to show up, going to continue to commit? Also, I have consistent income, right? And if I'm going to give my energy to somebody, when I have a client, I'm all in, right? I'm all in, and I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I go all in. I have a huge initial session, right? We all know that's the hardest one. And then, and then that one in the labs. No, so I don't want to have a huge initial. And then where did they go? Right? Or, oh, they came in 2 months later and they went back to their old habits. We're not going to make any progress. Oh yeah, I took those supplements like for a couple of days, but I forgot, and it's been 3 months. So I started again this week. Why am I still bloated? Right? I'm not going to deal with it. So I'm going to set up my container to make sure that the person is set for success, right? I'm going to do everything I can to set that up. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to get their results, right? They have to show up to it. They have to follow through. I am just there to provide the support And so logistically, those are the things that I have people like focus on when they're first getting started, baseline. And then from there, you kind of have what you need to start doing the thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think the container part is so important because I think a lot of people, whether they're able to articulate it or not, clients specifically, especially clients that are looking for wellness, health type of guidance, they need accountability and they need guidance. And it's no different than a child who's acting out and you're like, oh my God, how do I get this child to stop acting out? Like maybe I just need to be softer and they'll stop being so upset. Sometimes they need discipline and they need to feel that kind of safety of somebody cares and somebody's directing me. And I think it's no different with adults who are struggling with whatever it may be health-wise. They need somebody to say, look, this is what you have to commit to in order to get X results. And you're either going to commit to it and we're going to have success, or you won't, and we won't have success. And so giving them some sort of parameters of accountability and structure in a world where we can kind of feel so left to our own devices and there's so much information, I think can be really helpful for people, even if they don't actually know that that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. Oh, it's key. And here's the thing. It's like, if the client knew exactly what they needed, then they wouldn't have the issue to begin with. Right. And coaches, so often I will see them kind of like crumble to the pressure. Well, the client wanted this. Well, she said she didn't need that, so I took it out. Well, she couldn't afford this. It's like, I'm sorry, does your client run your business or do you run your business? Right. That's so, so important. And when people are going to tell you all the time what they think that they need. And, there's a balance there. Obviously, we want to listen to our clients and make adjustments with their lifestyle. But when I'm setting up the container, for me, I have learned the hard way, right? And I see this work again and again. It's like, look, this is what you can step into. And if you're ready to say yes to this, amazing. But if this isn't the right fit, that's okay. But I don't make adjustments because I know that this is what works. I know that this is what works. So I set it up that way. And no budging. And I think that's really important for the practitioner, hold firm in what that person needs, because you don't want to get yourself in a situation where like you'll get upset with yourself. You're going to be frustrated with yourself. Oh, why is this person, not following through? Or even on the other side of it with boundaries, setting up that container, like this is when I'm available in these capacities and this is when I'm not. I'm very, very clear. And it can be easy for people to turn into like a 24/7 on-demand coaching service, which if you're doing that, I hope you're getting paid a lot of money, right? But is that also even helping the client? Because I can't tell you how many times people will send me a message about something and I have a rule. Everybody knows this. I'm like, I never respond immediately. I wait at least 4 to 6 hours, because 95% of the time I get a message 2 hours later. Oh, never mind. I figured it out. Yep. And that's important for them to go through, because I do not want a client to become dependent on me. I do not want them to become dependent on me where I need to know what Christina would say before they can make a decision. They have to learn to live in the world by themselves. They can do it. Right. So just give them a couple of hours. But for me, I'm like, yeah, I'll respond within 48 hours. And I do that because I don't want anybody to develop dependence on me. That's super important. And also for my own boundaries, because again, early on in my coaching business, I was just so drained because I felt like I had to be available all hours of the day. I felt like I was glued to my email or my phone, and I was so worried that I was going to miss a message, and it was just not a good cycle. And so like the boundary piece is so, so crucial. Anybody who works with me knows I'm so strict about people and their boundaries. And I find that a lot of people are kind of giving too much of themselves, but I see it leads to resentment. It leads to burnout and resentment. And we want to get ahead of that. And so, the strong boundaries are for you, but they're also for your client, because I don't care what that person's coming to you for. I would bet my dollar that 98% of people who have a health issue have a boundary issue as well. So when you uphold your own boundaries within the coaching container, it's a way to continue the relationship, right? That's an act of love for me. Mm-hmm. That gives that client permission to uphold boundaries in their own life. Right. If I felt like I had a coach who had no boundaries with me and they were telling me, well, you need to draw this boundary with this person in your life, right? Like, how do we create some space? I would have no model for that. I wouldn't feel safe to do that. So remember that you're the example.
Yes. Yeah. And I think for so many people who come into health coaching, we end up wanting to give what we maybe were missing at one point in our life. And the way that you kind of approach the business coaching and addressing the part of us that may want to immediately jump to respond, or is looking for some sort of approval, or wants everybody to just get well and here, do it your way because that'll make you feel comfortable and happy. And addressing kind of what that might be for us that's holding us back from being able to set a clear boundary, and kind of healing that part within ourselves and having some guidance there. I feel like that can be so huge for so many practitioners, right? Because we all kind of come to this place, I think, in very similar ways.
Oh, totally. Totally. And it's such an important question to ask, like, where is that coming from? And like, why do I feel the need to, like, because there can be many answers, right? That can be filling so many voids. That could be what we used to need. That could be from, something from our relationship with our parents, for sure, is a big one. That could be from something going on with the partnership. So there's so many reasons why we could be jumping to that. Is it because I feel like I'm only worthy if I'm always helping people pleasing, who made me feel wrong for not people pleasing? But on the other side of it, and I'll say this from the client perspective, as somebody who has worked with so many practitioners, but in so many containers. And I remember, I remember, like, there were moments when I wanted so badly to talk to, there was like one time when I was working with 2 different nutritionists, 2 therapists, and I had 2 functional medicine doctors on my team when I was in college. I remember that I was seeing multiple people every single day. And there would be nights where I was like, I need to talk to somebody. Nobody would answer me. And I would get so upset, and it gave me the space to have my own mental breakdown by myself and pull myself out of it and be like, wait, I can figure this out on my own. And I'm like, I can wait 24 hours to talk to somebody. And I had to go through that painful experience to learn my own strength. And big picture, it really served me. And I wasn't mad at them. For not being available to me, right? That was so helpful. I was more mad at myself, and that actually allowed me to enter into a new level of inner strength, of self-love, because I realized, like, I have it in me. Like, I'm fine. I can do this, and I have all of the support. But that also taught me healthy boundaries as well, because they were implementing them with me. And if we also think from some more professional angle, I'll say, whatever professional means. If you think about, if somebody goes to see their traditional doctor or their dentist, they're not on demand, right? If I emailed my dentist a question, they'd be like, oh, you need to come in and see Dr. So-and-so, and in this world of social media, we can feel like, oh, I have to be available at all times. You don't, right? We can think about it old school. Like the first nutritionist I ever saw, she literally didn't have a phone. She had no social media, nothing on the internet. And I had to go into the office. So I knew if I have a question, I have to go into the office. So there are many reasons why your boundaries are key. And hopefully that lifts some weight off of people's shoulders.
Yeah, of course, because we can feel the pressure. And when you're trying to start a business or become, kind of successful in this way that you feel comfortable, you think you have to give and give and give and give to get. And exactly what you're saying, it makes so much sense that's really, it actually is the total opposite, perhaps, that you need to like give to yourself, set that boundary, and kind of things flow energetically properly around you.
Yeah. Well, if you think about the energetic, like money energetics, it's all about receiving, and why most people, a lot of the work I do with my clients is opening them up to receiving, what that really means. Most people don't realize that they're really out of receiving mode in so many ways. And so when you're always in the energy of giving, there isn't room for you to receive more, right? So if you think about, like, am I actually creating space in my life for myself to receive? That's receiving clients, that's receiving more money. A lot of people have kind of blocked that off, right? And they're just so in the energy of giving. And I fully believe in, the more you give, the more you receive. It's putting things out into circulation, putting energy out into circulation. But at the same time, most people are just not even open to the receiving. So almost to get that back in balance again, we kind of have to swing to the other side of the pendulum and get you into rest and receiving mode. Let people help you. You can start to build that muscle. You can start to ask people to support you. You can ask your friend, hey, can you help me with this? Like, most people are so uncomfortable, I'll say most practitioners are like actually uncomfortable with asking for help because they're so used to being the helpers to everybody else. Mm-hmm. Like you deserve that, right? So start flexing that muscle, that muscle of asking and receiving and letting yourself receive. It's in the little things. It's when somebody gives you a compliment, can you just say, thank you? Thank you. I received that. Yes, I do. I am beautiful. Thank you. Right. Or are we going to say, oh no, this whole thing, right? It's like those little behaviors. It really does reflect, where you're at energetically with receiving, if you're comfortable with that or not. And so it's such a simple thing, but if everybody here, can think about how do I actually receive in my daily life? How can I receive more? What am I receiving today? Start to think about that, because the more you get into that energy, you're going to notice a lot more opportunities come your way. So it's all about opening up.
Yes. Yeah. And some people might not think, accepting a comment like, oh, you have beautiful eyes as somehow helping their business, but everything is connected, and our energy on a daily basis is what's connected to kind of what other people perceive. And so, yeah, that's another amazing point. So could I back up just a little bit? And I'd love for you, because we always have kind of this little bit of like, should I niche down? Should I be broad spectrum? A lot of coaches kind of want to help everybody. I'm curious what your specific, if you could go a little bit more into depth into the niching down, what that kind of does for both the practitioner, how it probably makes life a whole lot easier and clear for the practitioner, along with the client base that they're looking to attract.
Yeah. So, what I'll say, I'm not going to say that not niching can't work, because it can, but I'll say for like most people, and like it takes a certain type of person for that to work. Typically somebody who, they're just like really amplifying their energy. They already have a really big platform. But for the new coach, like, hands down, I'm going to make everybody niche. If you're my client, like I'm going to make you niche, because that in business, no matter where you're at in your business, any issue, it always comes back to clarity. Where are we not clear? Where are you not clear? Where is that ideal client or customer not clear? Because that's where the breakdown is in communication. We need clear communication for people to know that we can help them, right? If you think about a lot of the programs or offers that just do the best, like simple language, very clear. This is what you're going to get, right? This weight loss program, like very clear. I'm going to lose weight. It's not general health and wellness actually doesn't drive that many people, right? A lot of people, yes, they want to get generally healthy, but are they willing to put money down for that? Or are they willing to put money down for that one symptom to go away that has been driving them crazy? And they're up every single night, Googling about it, listening to every podcast about it, right? So what's going to make that person actually hear you? We know that their whole body is going to rebalance. They're going to experience benefits far and beyond that one main thing they're focused on. But for that person, for us to be able to reach them, like this is communication. This is building a coaching skill. Part of being a good coach is being able to communicate with your ideal client. You have to have that skill in your sessions, and you have to be able to talk to them in a way where they can understand what you're saying, right? And if we are not meeting them where they're at with language, they're just going to miss the point, right? So if I focus on gut health and my ideal client has no idea what the word microbiome means, right? If I'm looking for somebody who is more like general bloating, right? They've never seen a practitioner before, right? I'm going to use different language. I'm going to use her language. I'm not going to start talking about gut dysbiosis in all of my posts, because if she sees that, I don't even know what that means. Goes over her head. She's on to the next person, right? So I need to speak her language so she feels like I'm talking directly to her. And a lot of practitioners, look, love you, but like trying to sound smart actually can really deflect customers. They want to feel like you're relatable. And in a coaching session, if they can't even understand what you're saying, all of your sciencey language, like they're going to be too intimidated to get into a coaching container with you, right? Or if you're working with the client, like for example, most of my clients are like, little Ben Greenfields with all their biohacks, right? So I can use big words and fancy language because they know more than me. These people come to me, I'm like, whoa, didn't even know about that, right? So I can use that. I could use that type of language at that time, right? Because it was meeting that person where they were at. So we really need to know, this is why you have to be crystal clear on who your ideal client is so that you can really speak their language. But with niching down, this is going to really allow you to focus on your content. So you have an angle to come out with everything, right? And so it all feels very tied together for that person. It's almost like you get paralyzed when there are too many choices, right? And so if every day I know I'm talking about getting rid of PMS symptoms, I can talk about anything I want in relation to getting rid of PMS symptoms. And when somebody comes to my page, for example, they know me as, oh, she helps people get rid of their PMS symptoms. It's like, that's the association directly. But if you're not associated with anything specifically, people are going to kind of forget about you, or you want to be the go-to person for that specific symptom, right? Because if it's not helping Sally, who found your page, she might talk to her friend Jane, and Jane has this issue. She's like, oh, you should follow so-and-so. She's the go-to person for that. She posts about that all the time, right? And this is how you make yourself an authority. So the point is that niching down makes you the expert. It makes you the authority. And your client needs to see you as an authority figure on this if they're going to invest their time and money in working with you to resolve this issue. So it's much easier for you to create content. It's much easier for you to stay focused, to be crystal clear with your audience. It will bring way more people your way because they're going to know exactly what they're getting, right? And for the ideal client, I mean, they often can't even find you if you're not niche down. So, I mean, I think that's one of the most common mistakes I see people making. And I get it. Like, I was there for so long. I avoided niching down for so long. And the second I finally just, set my ego aside, everybody came in. I just had to pick one thing. I was like, wow, nothing has really changed on my end. I still talk about everything that I want to. I just have an angle that I'm going at it with, or even thinking about, I'll even come at it from like the podcast angle. So, I've had a podcast for 6 years. I have interviewed, over 300 people in the health and wellness spirituality space. I also own a podcast pitching business. So we connect people with podcasts, guests with podcasts. And I'm like very deep in the podcast space. If you want to know what hosts look for, like if you don't have a niche, it's a no. Like quite simply, unless you have a personal connection to that person, because people are looking for an expert or an authority. They're looking for something to anchor into. For some people, it can work. Again, if you already have a huge platform, like if it already makes sense for everybody, already knows you. But when you're starting off, you are going to grow so much more quickly and get way more people, even just seeing what you have to offer if you niche down. So I would think about, what do you love talking about the most? Like your ideal person, if they said, I have this issue, can you help me? Who would be the person that you'd say, yes, I'm excited to do that. We can do that, right? It's often the thing that we overcame ourselves. What's the thing that you feel confident with, right? What's the thing that you're going to be excited to do some extra research about for that client? Not the thing that feels like a drag, for me, I like talking about hormones, but that was never my thing. Like if I get deep into like estrogen, it's not a lot, right? Gut, I could talk about all day long. Love gut, right? So think about what you're already excited about, what you're already researching on your own, what you're already geeking out over, what you're already listening to podcasts on. And if somebody came to you tomorrow and they said, I have this issue, can you help me? You'd be like, yes, we can focus on that. So that's what I would say about niching. I think it's so crucial.
Yeah, it's such valuable, amazing information because I couldn't agree more. I think it's hard to do when you kind of like conceptualize a big picture, but when you kind of just said it so specifically the way that you did, why it's important, how to do it, and how it's going to serve you and your client base going forward. It's so clear why it's important. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of resistance to it. Like there are certain things I've seen again and again with new practitioners where they're just in resistance. And that's one of the main things. They don't want to niche. And I'll tell people, if you join my program and you're working through this in 3 months, you can either just go with your niche. I know it feels uncomfortable, but see yourself reap the rewards like within month 1, or you can spend 3 months. I don't know if I should niche, going back and forth. And then you're going to end up, when you finally say yes, because you realize it works, starting then. So you might as well just niche to begin with. You can always change your mind. Like you can always change your niche, but you have to just get out there and get started. And people spend so much time, well, I don't know, back and forth. Pick one and try it on. Write about it, talk about it for a couple of weeks. And if after a couple of weeks, you're like, I hate this, great. Now you know, then change it, right? But so many people are so busy being indecisive, and energetically, that is the biggest energy drain to your business. When you're in this energy of indecision, you're like in between, it's just a huge energy leak. Pick a lane, go for it. And then at least you have clarity. If it's a yes or a no, it doesn't really matter. At least you're getting the clarity. Try it on for a couple of weeks. And if you don't like it, great. Now you know it's a no and you can pick the other one. But you can spend years in this, I don't know, should I do this or that? Really getting nowhere. So pick a lane, try it on. And you'll see it makes a big difference.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay. So where can all of our guests kind of find you as far as social media is concerned, websites, if they want to learn more? I think you had mentioned, which I'll have you mention again, just at the end of the episode so that they can kind of maybe write it down if they weren't before. I think you said like a webinar, or tell us where everybody can learn more.
Yeah. So I'm everywhere is Christina the Channel. So ChristinaTheChannel.com, Instagram at Christina the Channel, YouTube, Christina the Channel, and my podcast is Christina the Channel. And everything, you can find everything on my website. If you go to at the top, there's a free guides tab. I have a ton of different downloads and webinars and different resources that will probably be really helpful for you if you're looking to build your business. I also have a lot of, health information on there as well, if you're interested in like the energetics of healing and all of that. But I would definitely check out the webinar I have on how to build a six-figure coaching business using social media. You don't need a big following at all. I have had clients who have 100 followers, and within 3 months, we have them on track to make six figures, so it can happen really quickly. I had a client go through my program recently who had she started with 97 followers. I think by the end of the program, she had 150, but she made 60K in those 3 months. She literally just started, Wow. So it can move quickly if you allow yourself to step into that energy, but the people who move forward quickly are the people who just make decisions and are okay with changing their decisions later on. That's part of being an entrepreneur. So yeah, I have lots of resources, lots of podcast episodes about business. So I would love to connect with all of you. If you feel called, I have my little shaker. I'm drinking the protein powder. Yeah, it's so good. I love it. It's so good. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Yeah, my pleasure. We really appreciate you being a guest, and we'll look forward to connecting again soon. Thank you so much for sharing all your amazing wisdom.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Christina.